All right. So this one, in example 3, it says the table shows some words and or phrases associated with 4 basic arithmetic operations. These words can help you translate real world situations. I'm going to skip this a little bit. I'm going to talk about it. But I want you to know this is not always the case. There are times where these things don't happen always the way that you expect. In other words, they're saying the operation of adding. How do you know if you're going to add something? Well, sum never changes, right? So if there's something where they say the sum of, you're probably going to add. If they say added to, you probably are going to use the plus symbol, right? So what they're saying is when you make your expression, you're probably going to add stuff. You're probably going to subtract stuff. At some point in time, you'll probably multiply a few things. And then at some point in time, you'll probably do some division, right? Well, these are the key words in the setup that you want to look for. Now, if it says more than, you'll probably add, but it doesn't always mean you're going to add. It just means one thing is more than the other. It depends on how they say it. If they say increased by, sometimes it means add, but sometimes increase can be multiplication. Okay? Same thing down here for subtraction. If it says less than, it's probably subtraction, but you really got to think about, does it really mean subtraction? Now, if they say minus, that's definitely subtraction. If they say subtracted from, that's definitely subtraction. If they say take away, that's definitely subtraction. When they straight up say times or multiplied by or the product of, that's multiplication. If they say percent, you multiply by a decimal. But you got to know that the decimal needs to be converted, right? 60% is 0.6. Division, if they say quotient, division, divided by, divided into, that's almost always a division, or you can write it as a fraction. So remember, and I'm glad that I saw this right here. Remember, when I say divided by, it's also the same as a numerator over a denominator. Remember, a fraction is like a division problem. The top number is being divided by the bottom number. So that's important because when we go to do example number 3, they're going to give us some expressions, and we got to write down what they think they mean and how we're going to do it. So for part A, they say to us that the price of an item plus 6% sales tax. So they kind of set it up for us. They say the price of the item, we don't know what the price is, so we'll call it P. 6% plus 6% of sales tax. So how do they calculate sales tax? Does anybody in here know how sales tax is calculated? You want to buy, you go to the Nike outlet and you want to get a pair of Jordans. They got them on sale for $200. It's 10% off. How do you figure out the 10% off? Yeah, you would times by something. What would you times it by, though? What does 10% mean? $10 is 10%. But so remember that this percentage is a decimal. So it's really 6% is really 0.06. And where they get that from is you're going to move the decimal 2 spots. Now I'm seeing a lot and I'm writing a lot. And as I look out, you guys are just kind of looking. Some of you aren't even really looking at the screen. You're just looking down. But look, to get that decimal, I go right here where the decimal point should be, and I go over 1, 2. And I put a 0 as a placeholder. That's where this comes from. Well, what do you multiply that number by? Well, for sales tax, you multiply it by the cost of the item. Well, what's the price of the item? P. So I'm going to say 0.06 times P. Well, this is actually the same as 1p, and if you combine like terms, it's 1.06p. B is the price of a car. Do we know the price of a car? No, so we're going to call it what? P. And this is a decimal, but it's a percent, so 8.5% is a decimal. Well, first of all, plus the 8.5% sales tax. That's how you figure this out. We're writing mathematical models. That's the same as 0.0, right? Because I got to move it over to. I got to go 1, 2, put the 0 there. So that's 0.08 times the price of the car, but we said the price of the car is P. Now, that means the expression is P plus, or you could say 1P plus 0.08P, and when you add them up, it could be 1.08P, because you can combine like terms, right? Remember that? This is a P, this is a P. How many P's do you have together? I'm writing it down as 1 plus 0.08, and we are factoring out the P. So that would be 1.08 times P, but you could put the P in the end, and that's how you get this 1.08P. Okay. So it says use the distributive property to show that this is equal to this. So how do I do that? Well, I could say 1.06P is equal to 1P plus 0.06P. But really what they're doing is they're factoring out the P. So I'm going to say 1 plus 1, or I'm sorry, 0.06 times P. In other words, if I write this over here, if I say P times 1 plus 0.06, when I go to distribute this, what's P times 1? 1P. Then I multiply the P times this, and I go plus 0.06P. Okay? So I'm factoring out the P, and when I factor out the P, I just add the coefficients. Well, it says, what could the expression 3 times the quantity P plus 0.06 represent? Well, it could be 3 items, right? You could say 3 identical items with 6% sales tax. And that's it. Any questions on that?